Now here's a guy that can change things for himself and for others to the better. He has the purpose to do that. He's one of the few hyperbaric oxygen doctors that you'll ever meet. He's a young man, and what he's done with his life is something just to revere. He can help people that are very desperate for help, that are almost seemingly by the medical community throwaway bodies. He knows what to do. We cannot do without oxygen. His delivery of the oxygen and knowing how to use the oxygen, we think, is quite powerful and quite knowledgeable for the mainstream public to know about. I want to give you Ty Sexton, Dr. Ty Sexton, the MD.
So my name is Tyler Sexton. I was born 28 weeks. Both my lungs collapsed, and they told my parents that they would keep my body warm so they could hold me for the first and last time before they buried me. As I got older, I spent 3 months in the neonatology intensive care unit. Ended up getting better, but by 15 to 18 months I still couldn't sit up, and my parents of course knew something was wrong. And that enlisted getting a MRI of the brain, and I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, spastic diplegia. They told my parents that I would be blind, mentally and physically disabled, and that I would never walk. And 16 surgeries later, and by the grace of God, I became a medical doctor specializing in pediatrics and hyperbaric medicine. The whole purpose of my mission is that people say no, and God says yes, and there is hope in this life. Despite our circumstances, you can alter your life by altering your attitude. And I want to use my circumstances as a stepping stone and teach people to use their stumbling blocks as stepping stones in my medical practice. I am a pediatric hospitalist and hyperbaric medicine doctor in Pascagoula, Mississippi. I also own a company in Florida called Caribbean Hyperbaric Medicine, in which we specialize specifically in hyperbaric medicine training for individuals that are inside that field or want to enter in that field. We operate a office that offers the American College of Hyperbaric Medicine and National Board of Diving and Hyperbaric Medical Technologies, the courses that are CMS approved and that are required by law for these guys to take in order to treat and function in a hyperbaric center. We teach those. And then I work at a variety of different hospitals consulting as a pediatric wound care specialist as well. In pediatric wound care, the reason that I got involved and into hyperbaric medicine was I also do adults. I'm certified and board certified in wound care by the American Board of Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine. I hold numerous credentials in different aspects of wound healing. The reason I got into it though was, these chronic wounds are debilitating for both adults, but particularly in children. These children with cerebral palsy, spina bifida, these special needs kids that are bedridden, they end up, as we well know, if you don't move them, they're going to get wounds. They have skin breakdown. They are, dependent on diaper changing and things like that for their lives, and their quality of life can be dramatically affected by these wounds. Well, in my profession, what I've found, at least in pediatrics, is that quality wound care in some areas of the country is lacking. And as I went through my training, I wanted to specifically focus on that. When I completed it, I started a pediatric wound care center in Mobile, Alabama, and Pascagoula, Mississippi, in which we focus specifically on these children and avoid amputations. The whole point of utilizing hyperbaric medicine and the things that you're going to hear us talk about later is limb salvage and promoting good wound care in a variety of different applications on the body. But in pediatrics specifically, to avoid these, what otherwise orthopedics or other areas would look at amputations, we can try to intervene well before that happens. And the studies show that when you employ good wound care with hyperbaric medicine, you can provide over 85% limbs can be saved. Hyperbaric medicine is a type of medicine where we use oxygen under pressure that is delivered into the pulmonary system that is used as a drug. We load the tissues 3 to 4 times more than what you're breathing at the atmosphere right now. Atmospherically, we breathe 21% oxygen, right? 21%, and the rest, for the sake of argument right now, 79% nitrogen. Then there's a couple gases in there that we, argon, methane, things like that. However, when we use hyperbaric medicine, we are increasing where it's 100% delivery to the tissue. Those bacteria, say the anaerobes, are completely killed. The other thing that we do, for example, is we know in terms of wound healing and inflammation, we know that hyperbaric medicine decreases or stops the beta-2 integrins that cause inflammation. When you are sick, what happens? Your body says, it's kind of like your body is an amazing device that God created, right? Let's say, for example, you are outside and somebody robs a bank, right? What do? The cops come and they get these guys to rob a bank. That's what our white blood cells are, right? And they surround the area and they make sure the robbers can't get away. And that's the right thing. But after that, we know as innocent bystanders driving by, if we're stuck behind a cop, we're going to be stuck in traffic because we can't get through, right? That's exactly what happens with the body. The white blood cells are the cops. They found an offending agent. They found that abscess in the mouth. They found those issues. But now the blood supply, the nutrition, the things that you're speaking of can't get there because they have congestion or inflammation. So we can't get there. Well, hyperbaric medicine, through the studies, show that it stops the white blood cells through what's called beta-2 integrins. It stops them from attaching and being stuck or sticky, and it decreases inflammation. What does that do? There's twofold. One, decreases inflammation so that the body can use the blood supply and the pathway, the highway, to get what it needs. The other side, though, is when you're injured or when you have a chronic infection, when you have surgery, when you have delayed radiation injury, which can happen immediately after radiation, or 10, 15, 20 years. There's something called delayed radiation injury, as we well know. That has destroyed the highways of the body, the blood supply. Hyperbaric medicine promotes angiogenesis, which means it promotes new blood vessel growth. As a matter of fact, we know also in order to heal, you need collagen, right? Or fibroblast. Baby collagen is called fibroblast. Hyperbaric medicine makes and promotes new fibroblast growth. So it is an incredible augment to wound healing, and I think this is a seriously missed component of healthcare and the management of some of these diseases. You guys do excellent work in terms of extraction and the dental hygiene. You're dealing with a lot of individuals that are dealing with cancer, radiation injuries of the thyroid, CML and things like that, where you guys see all of these chronic dentition or abscesses. We know that you deal with anaerobic infections all the time, or significant infections of the mouth. Hyperbaric medicine, because you're using 100% oxygen in this environment, anaerobes, they are oxygen-hating bacteria, right? You're at the precipice of excellent medical care. Just the fact that we're having this conversation shows the power of collaboration and knowing how important it is and how much ahead of the curve you are and your practice is when you're employing this combination, because it's not happening everywhere else. So the big thing is for you to be informed of why we're doing this, is to be informed of what the difference is, what's a good chamber or not. So when you walk in and you're looking at these centers, whether they be in the hospital or they be off-label, there's nothing wrong with freestanding centers that you can get these treatments that we're talking about. But look at the machinery and the equipment that they're using. If you see anything that is nylon or smaller, that's a clinic that you want to probably stay away from. It is an expensive treatment, but I can tell you this, it also will emblazon you in your healthcare provider's eyes. If they are doing the right thing and they have these truly hyperbaric chambers, you know that they are committed to quality excellence and making you better.